yammering in the background. I'll change mine to push to talk. Yeah.
Gracias. Okay, so, you there, Esky? Anyway. Last time we started with you all taking the burgomaster to the chapel for burial, of which you met the priest's son, who was involved with the Mad Mage's attempt on overthrowing Strahd, and he returned back a vampire spawn. Y'all encountered him. Radon ended up teaching Father Callahan, I think it was, Donovich, the care and feeding of a vampire. He agreed that you all should probably take Ireena to Vallaki. And on the road, you met some pissed off vampires, werewolves, who were looking for revenge. And if memory serves, the Shield Guardians paid off really well. And let's see, that's 4, it would probably be about 6. So, it's roughly about 6 p.m. What little sun this area gets is setting. And I guess the question is, do you want to set out for Vallaki now, or wait till morning?
Well, if we wait till morning, can we camp safely where we are?
Well,
aren't we basically out in the woods?
Yes, I'm sorry. You are out in the woods. I'm even looking at the map. So yes, you are at the midway point, or you just passed Tyser Falls. You got attacked by the werewolves. Do you want to rest and heal up, or do you want to press on? It's still, I'd say, 7 to 8 miles to Vallaki.
We could.
Well, we could put
I don't know.
Esky on guard duty all night, so you all could get a full night's rest.
Works for
Yeah,
me.
I'd be okay with that.
He's not here to contest it, apparently.
Nope. Plus, does he need a long rest? I mean, I need a long rest. I'm pretty whacked for spells.
So, in that case, shall we rest for the night?
Yeah, I think we should rest for the night. Esky and Grandma can split the watch and go from there.
And you all do manage to succeed in getting enough rest to recharge.
All
uh, so you camped. Took a long rest. Okay, the sun is it's starting to get brighter in this ever dull gray world of Barovia. And you managed to take a long rest, and Radon starts saying, Grandma, about halfway through the night, broke out a bottle and just started drinking. And, well, she passed out about an hour ago, and you don't think that you're going to be able to arouse her.
No grandma.
No, Grandma.
That bitch.
And I'm just going to hide her on Combat Tracker. So, anyway, Ismark volunteers to make a little litter, and you drag Grandma behind you as you travel down the road.
Litter. Let's just wrap a rope around her ankles, turn her face down, and drag her slow.
Party's choice.
No, it's fine. Litter it is.
I mean, I'm okay with it. Might have a hard time getting into the next town, dragging someone behind us, though.
Well, you can stop outside of town.
We could stab her in a few spots and then say we were waylaid and we need to get in town for healing. Who's got a dagger?
I think that's an alignment check right there.
And I need the Barovia town map.
I don't actually have my alignment or my deity on my character sheet, even though I'm a cleric.
Chaotic evil it is, then.
You not have your alignment on your sheet. Even I do.
I don't know. I thought it was on there, but I look under alignment and there's nothing. Maybe somebody erased it. I'll fill it in.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, you set off, and you go past Tyser Falls and so forth. You're going up into the mountains away from the castle, and we're gonna jump forward. At about 4 in the afternoon, that would be 1, 2. You can do what, 6 miles a day on foot?
Who knows?
Per day or per hour?
Heavy travel.
Oh, hang on. Map.
Okay, while traveling mounts and vehicles, a normal walk you can do 3 miles per hour. So let's say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Well, I think the scaling on this map is correct.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so about 2 hours later, which makes it roughly about 10, you start descending down out of the mountains, and you're on the old Slavish road going through the old Slavish forest. And it meanders.
Slavich.
It meanders into a valley watched over by dark, brooding mountains, and the woods recede, and It reveals a sullen mountain berg. Yeah, we're going to put you on further down here. And right at the crossroads, you see a sullen mountain berg surrounded by a wooden palisade. And
I'm sorry, a
thick,
bird?
a mountain village. Berg.
Okay, that's a bit different.
uh, but yeah, you see this village and it's got the wooden palisades surrounding it. And it's 15-foot tall wall that completely encloses the town, and you can see that the logs are held together with thick ropes and mortars, and the top of each log has been sharpened to a point. And you can see ropes and so forth that are holding up this wooden scaffolding on the inside, so the guards are able to peer over the wall. And there's thick fog that's pressing up against the wall, and it's like it's looking for a way inside. And you see these sturdy iron gates, and there's a pair of shadowy figures standing behind them. And planted in the ground and flanking the road outside the gate are a half-dozen pikes with wolves' heads impaled on them.
Nice place.
And yeah, you can see the two guards are carrying pikes and so forth, and you notice that these weapons are long enough to stab you through the bars of the gates. But, they yell at you to halt and, state your purpose for being at the gates of Wallachia.
Well, go on. Tell him.
And Ismark goes up to the gate, and, he identifies himself as the son of Barovia's burgomaster and so forth, and that he is here to talk to the current, what do they call him? Yeah, the burgomaster of this area, Baron Vargas Vlakovich. And, the guard looks at Ireena and looks at Ismark, and then, he kind of leans over and looks past them at you all, and it's like, who are these people?
I'm a good boy, I swear.
So, Ismark says that, you're out-of-town adventurers that he hired to, help get his sister here. That she has drawn the attention of Strahd. And with that, the guard's attitude gets even more serious. And he's like, Strahd, and it's like, yeah, apparently, Strahd has become infatuated with Ireena, and that's why we're bringing her to Wallachia, because, with your palisade and everything, you can protect her. And the guard says, excuse me for a minute, and he takes a step back, and he confers with the other guard, and comes up to the gate, and he's like, well, with you being Ismark the Lesser, we'll let you and your sister in, but the rest of you, we're very leery on outsiders, especially newcomers. especially when in 3 days we are having our Festival of the Blazing Sun. And, Ismark's like, hold on just a minute, and he comes back, and he's like, well, guys, what do you all think?
Well, you hired us. If you think you'll be safer in there than out here, I say go for it. Otherwise, try to find a way to get us inside.
He's like, I don't have any reason to think that we wouldn't be safe in here. And, apparently my name's not enough to get you all in the gate. And he's like, I'll take Ireena in and get everything situated and so forth. And, hey, there's a lake just to the north, about a mile down the road. Why don't you go fishing?
Sure, we can think of our next step, I suppose.
Fish does sound yummy.
Because I figure it's going to be 6 to 7 hours or so before I come back. I got to make sure she's safe and explain everything. And I'm sure there'll be questions and, arrangements. So
I'm sure you can talk things out with the Burgomaster.
And he's like, I appreciate it, and I'll meet you at the lake as soon as I can.
Alright, we'll go, I don't think we'll be bothered by werewolves anymore, so let's go ahead and head for the lake.
So, you head toward the lake, and, like I said, it's a mile down the road, and at the foot of the mountain, in this misty forest, is a large lake. The water is perfectly still and dark, and the black clouds overhead look like a monstrous mirror.
Jerry.
I can't imagine the extra special side eye this party would be getting, having a satyr and a furbolg.
Not to mention the unconscious old woman.
And that too.
Yeah. Grandma, by this time, is conscious, but not really. She's less coherent than normal. She is still pretty much hammered from whatever she drank the previous night.
This happens too often for my liking. So yeah, I guess we'll just go ahead and set up shop.
Okay, so what do you all want to do to pass the time?
I'm going to look into my pack, start pulling things out. A lantern, an emblem, big fluffy rabbit, just whatever I could find in there. Sewing needle. Still has that rabbit in there. He looks at it. He's like, where the hell did this come from?
Feed him a little piece of grass or whatever.
It's like, is it like an actual rabbit, or is it just a stuffed one? Say it's a real rabbit.
Yeah, we're gonna say it's a real rabbit. For some reason, you have this random rabbit that appeared.
Just thinks whatever, and he puts it back in the bag.
Yeah, and the once or twice you've tried to set it free, it's just reappeared back in the bag. What are you gonna name the bunny?
I don't know. I have to think about it.
So anyway, even though the lake is kind of dark and depressing, it's nice and calm. You got a nice little vantage point where you can see nice field of view, so no surprises coming at you. And it's boring. Oh my god, it is boring, and the hours just drag on, and
Hmm.
uh, you know,
Golly,
it,
don't.
about 5 o'clock, uh, Ismark finds you at the lake. And, he apologizes that it takes so long. It cost him a couple of, favors and, a little more than gold when they found out that, who was interested in Ireena. But she is safely away, and Ismark is going to join you on your adventure to Perez.
We're going to Berez?
You were going to the marshlands.
Ah, yes, that's right.
Yep.
Let me see. I've got it written down here. Rodon goes poking around in his bag. Berez. Let's see. What was that prophecy she gave us? Or card reading? Ah, yes, the Enchanter. This is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. You see a kneeling woman, the rose of great beauty, plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak. So we need to find this master of the marsh.
Yes, you do. And considering, I'm sure you all would have talked about it on the trip in, but Ismark tells you that Perez, he doesn't know why personally, but Perez suffered the wrath of Strahd, and Strahd made the rivers swell, and pretty much he flooded the town to where everyone had to abandon it.
Wait, did we hear this story before?
Yes, very good. You don't even have to roll perception on that. But it was one of the tales that the Vistani told you.
Yeah, that's right.
About how Strahd was become enchanted with this village maiden and was in love with her, and in the process of turning her, doing the final bite to turn her into a vampire before Strahd could do that, her dad, the burgomaster of Perez, killed his daughter.
Yay.
And that just caused Strahd to unleash all kinds of hell on Perez.
Oh, it's nice to know we're dealing with somebody who can flood an entire town on a whim.
Yeah, no kidding. And, it's 6 o'clock by the time Ismark tells you, he really believes Ireena's safe. They're doing some kind of weird festival in hopes of warding off Strahd. So, and all the wolves' heads out front of Wallachia were from last week's festival of the Howling Wolves.
How many festivals do they have?
Apparently one a week.
Oh, I've remembered why I hate the second town. Okay.
Yeah, you know, I think the burgomaster might be losing his mind a little bit, but several of his guys I've known all my life and trust as much as you can trust anyone in this land.
Oh, there's nothing quite like a paranoid to watch over things.
No kidding. And but you know, you can travel forward. Perez is you know, it's probably another few hours. The sun is starting to set over the mountain.
We should probably only enter that area in the morning. It is a marshland, after all, isn't it?
Yes, it is marsh.
Alright, so I reckon we'll get close and then we'll find a place to camp for the evening.
Or you can stay on the lake where you have a nice vantage point.
That is true. We're not that far away, are we? If it's just a few hours, we could walk that distance.
And you know, Ismark does tell you that all of Barovia has werewolf problems, but it is central around here.
Well, we've already struck down a good number of them, so either they've learned their lesson or we're going to work our way through the whole pack.
Or several whole packs.
Okay.
Pack?
So,
How many do you think there are here?
I don't know.
Well, but not too many. Yeesh.
Ismark tells you that most outsiders like yourself, you know, they either perish, and if they're lucky, they might die. But for most outsiders, Barovia, they end up as other things. Be it vampire, be it werewolf.
Oh, so the place is just one big horror factory. That's great.
Yeah, Barovia is very dark and depressing, no hope.
Well, I don't really have to worry about becoming infected by a werewolf bite, but good luck to the rest of you. You can feel the camaraderie, can't you?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. So, you know, you set up camp and you find you a nice little spot and got all your areas of lines of fire laid out. And so, couple hours pass. You know, it is truly dark outside. There's very little reflection on the lake, and you know, it just looks like
I'll be back in a moment.
a solid black puddle out there. And we'll give Esky a minute to get back.
You guys aren't waiting for me or something, are you?
No, we're waiting for Esky for this plot point.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard anything for so long. I was like, did somebody ask me a question? I just didn't hear it.
Nope, not at all. You're good.
I'm back. What's up?
Okay. Yeah, we were waiting. A couple hours later, the sun has went fully down. And coming down the road from your campsite, you can hear this racket. And it sounds like a horse and carriage being driven at a high rate of speed. And it's coming towards the lake.
I want to go get a closer look at that, I think. And you said it's coming towards the lake. Is it going to pass by us?
Yes, it is coming in your direction.
Alright, I'm going to take up a spot behind a tree and kind of poke my head out, see what's coming.
I'm gonna do the same.
Does it appear that it's like out of control or just being driven fast?
It is being driven fast.
I'm going to hide behind the tree behind Radon.
Kind of gives you a side eye before turning his attention back to the cart.
I'm prepared to grab him and use him as a human shield.
Okay. You're looking down from your hiding spots, and you can see that there's this 4-horse team. And, I mean, they are just flying at breakneck pace, and they are hauling a carriage. And you can tell something's off with these horses. The fact that their eyes are glowing red.
Okay.
And they come terracing down the road, and as they start getting closer to you, they slow down.
I think somebody knows we're here and they're coming to visit.
Is this the man?
I hope not. But Radon's going to go ahead and light up his lantern of revealing and step out.
And the lantern of revealing reveals what?
Just reveals invisibility within a certain radius. But it also acts as a regular lantern.
Yeah, as you step out with the lantern, the carriage comes to a full stop. And you don't see any driver. And you can tell on the carriage door there's an envelope that's been stuck to the door.
I'll go ahead and step up and pluck it off the door and have a read.
Yeah, you can see on the back that it's got a wax seal and so forth. And you open it, and there's a letter. My friends, know it is I who have brought you to this land, my home, and know that I alone can release you from it. I bid you dine at my castle so that we can meet in civilized surroundings. Your passage here will be a safe one. I await your arrival. Your host, Strahd von Zarovich. And there's no one in the carriage at all.
So, an invitation then.
And Ismark is just kind of freaking out right now.
Oh, calm down. He's a vampire lord. If he wanted to come here himself, he would.
Well, just the fact that he knew where we were at.
Well, he invited our group to these lands in the first place, so he's probably kept an eye on us the whole time. Of course, I'm also very curious about why we were brought here in the first place.
He's got some weird mission for us.
I mean, if he just wanted a bite to eat, he could eat anybody. This valley's full of people.
Yes, but I'll bet they're not juicy and yummy like Atia.
Don't worry. If anything happens,
Happy
we'll
just
throw
shrinks back.
we'll throw a grandma at him and run.
It's like human jerky. We all know I'm too fatty and marbled. I'd give him like high cholesterol.
Of course. What do you lot think? Should we accept the invitation? I get the feeling that if we don't, he'll just come to find us.
Might as well, in for a penny, in for a pound.
I mean, on the flip side, he hasn't really done anything to bother us. The only thing we've had to deal with are the werewolf packs.
Ismark is... He's all for going. This might be his only chance to kill Strahd.
Ismark. My friend. Are you perhaps a mighty wizard? See, Radon's waiting for an answer.
No, I am not.
Do you have a horde of peasants at your back?
No, I do not.
Have you ever... Well, I suppose you have killed a monster before. You did it yesterday. Good job.
I have a crossbow. Surely an arrow counts as a wooden stake.
Sure.
You would think.
If the legend holds true.
Well, what my point is, if we could kill this guy, we would have already just gone and done it instead of trying to hide your sister away somewhere.
Also, as terrified as Atia is of the idea of going to eat dinner with this man, she does point out to Ismark that it would be terribly rude, no matter how you feel about him, to try and murder him at a dinner that he has invited us to.
Yes, I'm pretty sure he would have you torn into literal pieces. In any case, I would rather go and meet him face to face rather than maybe get ambushed later.
And all I'm saying is, if I get an opportunity and I think I can do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and he'll kill you right then and there.
It's long. I don't care if I live or die as long as he dies.
Well, then you should stay here.
And
Let's be very clear here. I do not think we are strong enough to kill this guy as we are. We should not pick a fight until we are stronger.
and you also have Grandma.
Yeah, Radana kind of gives Grandma a kick. We're also a man down. So keep it in your pants until we know what we're dealing with. All right?
I'm not an idiot, but okay.
All right. And then we're going to look back to the carriage. Don't suppose he wants us to climb in, do you?
But is the carriage just sitting there, like, waiting?
The carriage is just sitting there waiting.
All right, I'm getting in the carriage. Who's with me?
We don't have
First I
anything
throw
else
Grandma in the
to do
carriage.
tonight.
I put Grandma in the carriage first, see if it takes off.
No, it doesn't.
Damn it. All right, I get in the
Are
carriage
you
with
really
Grandma.
going to dinner with the vampire dragging a
Oh, where else are we going to leave her?
incoherent-
I think we should just leave her and Ismark here.
I guess we could.
No, they get eaten by werewolves.
This
Come
is
on,
true.
everybody get in.
Yep, here we go. Come on, Grandma.
He hesitantly gets in with everyone else.
I, for one, am very enthusiastic about this. This is going to be fun. I'll bet his food is yummy. Blood sausage. Mmm.
I think it's far more likely we'll be eating someone instead of something, but okay.
The rich.
So you're all really getting into the carriage.
Yes. It was an invitation. He's a vampire. And if he was going to attack us, he would just have ambushed us instead of sending a carriage. So, yeah, why not?
Yep, that's the wrong one. That ain't gonna get confusing at all. And okay, so you get into the carriage, and the second to last one of you gets your completely in the carriage. The door slams shut. The horses take off at full speed and do a U-turn and start headed back down the road toward Valaki and the old Salvik Road. And, you know, it never slows down, but it is the horse's breakneck pace. You're going through the valleys. Eventually, you know, you realize that you are headed toward the castle. As you start ascending into the mountains, there's snow mixed in with the mist. And give me just a second to find the castle. There we go. And up and up and up into the mountains you go. And finally, you see the castle wall, and there's these iron gates that mysteriously swing open. And the carriage comes into the courtyard full speed and rapidly comes to a stop. And let's see. Well, most of it's mapped out. And we have a new map coming at you. And if you scroll out enough, you will see that you are actually in the courtyard of the castle. So you can get a... And
I feel like I've been here before.
right out of a horror movie. You got thick, cold fog swirling around the courtyard. There's little traces of snow. There's sporadic flashes of lightning lancing the clouds overhead. Thunder shaking the ground. Through the drizzle, you can see torch flames fluttering at either side of the keep's open main doors. Warm light is spilling out into the courtyard.
Ooh, particle effects.
And high above the entrance is a round window with shards of broken glass still lodged into the iron frame. And out through the door steps this gentleman, and he's like, "Welcome to Castle Ravenloft. The master has been expecting you. If you would please follow me."
Okay.
Here goes nothing, I guess.
His name is Jeeves, really?
You would get a kick out of what his name really was. And it's, where the hell did it go?
Wait, you changed his name?
Yeah, I did.
Yes, he did.
Because it's like, you're Radon.
His name is Radon, isn't it?
It's very similar to Radon.
There can be only one.
So he become Jeeves. But, you know, he leads you in through the entryway, and as he approaches, the inner doors suddenly swing open, and you see this grand hall, and you hear the sound of organ music. And you're in this great entryway, and there's cobwebs stretching between the columns, and you see this vaulted ceiling of a great dusty hall, and it's very dimly lit by these sputtering torches and iron sconces. And the torches, as they flicker, cast odd shadows across the faces of these 8 stone gargoyles squatting motionless on the rim of the domed ceiling. And you can see cracked and faded frescoes are covered with decay. And to the south, he goes, "If you will follow me, please." And he leads you down to the south hallway. And to the east, you can see a spiral staircase that goes up and down. There's a suit of armor, oiled and glistening, standing at attention in the shallow alcove. You see a set of double doors, and there's bright light coming out of it. And as you go into the room,
Where the hell are you going?
oh, he's about to shit himself. You see that the room is occupied, and you know what? I'm gonna make y'all just carry Grandma with you.
And we've got her saddled over Don's shoulder.
And yeah, we'll put
We
her.
just leave Ismark outside in the cold.
Just kind of dump her in the courtyard.
And Ismark's, he's taken back spot. And so, yes, you look into this dining area, and you see these 3 enormous crystal chandeliers hanging from the ceiling. And there's pillars of stone standing against white marble walls. In the center of the room, you see a long, heavy table, and it's covered with a very fine white satin cloth. The table is an absolute feast. There's roasted beast basted in savory sauce, and roots and herbs of every taste, and sweet fruits and vegetables, and places are set for each of you with fine, delicate china and silver, and there's a goblet with an amber liquid that smells wonderful. And at the center of the far west wall, between these massive floor-to-ceiling mirrors, is an organ. And its pipes are blaring out a thunderous melody, and the melody is it's got the tone of greatness and despair. And seated at the organ, facing away from you, there's a single caped figure pounding the keys in raptured ecstasy. And the figure suddenly stops as a deep silence falls over the dining hall, and he slowly turns and says, "Welcome." And you can see standing near him at the organ are 3 beautiful ladies. He's like, "Come in, my friends. I know you're probably weary after your long journey to the castle. Come, eat. Let us get to know one another."
Sure. We'll go ahead and head on in. Suppose I'll find an empty seat and sit down.
Yeah, Ismark's gonna sit at the end of the table. You just plop Grandma in a chair.
Throw Grandma down next to me.
And Jeeves comes in. And he's like, "I am Count Strahd von Zarovich, and these are my 3 lovely brides." And, one of them's like, "Well, hello, it is so nice to meet you." And one's just looking at you like she could just literally kill you right then and there. And the other one is just very quiet.
Radon kind of looks at Ismark, and he raises 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fingers. And then he looks back at Strahd and he says, "Well, thank you for the invitation. We've heard a lot about you. It was nice of you to invite us into your lands like this."
Yes, that was one of the reasons I wanted to have dinner with you. Please, please, sit, eat, drink, be merry. This is the finest food that one can have in Barovia. I had it especially gathered for you.
Better back up off me, Jeeves. Just saying.
He just wants to make sure you're comfortable.
Yes, sir. Anything you wish, sir.
That's right.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll have a seat, and I'll put myself in the center of the table area.
He's like, I know you. You're Ismark the Lesser. You are of keen interest to me. Let's change that grid color to something we can see. That figures the map would be off.
GMW. Did you customize your Strahd, Winter?
Oh, yes, I customized my Strahd. He is not stock.
Oh, goodness.
Let's just say in the end he's level appropriate.
Level 29, just a step short of a god.
No, I didn't use that one.
Well, it's nice to know you're pulling your punches.
Well, I didn't use that one, and no, he's not level 29, but yeah, he's quite a handful.
Lovely.
Ismark's like, yes, you have shown an interest in my sister that I do not like. And Strahd just kind of laughs. Yes, your sister is someone that I used to know. But enough of that. And he's like, I recognize the three of you, but who's the old lady?
Oh, that's Grandma. Don't mind her. She's just a little sleepy.
Where did Grandma come from?
Verdon looks at Grandma. He's like, I'm not really sure. I was just sitting in a tavern one day, and then there she was. She's just kind of been following me around ever since.
Came from great grandma.
Yeah. I never expected a weekend at Bernie's for Strahd's dinner invitation.
Just stick some sunglasses on her. She's like, yeah, she's just she doesn't talk much. Don't mind her.
Yeah, she smoked some wacky weed on the way. It's funny. Has she been with you long?
I can't seem to recall.
That's odd, because, my invitation was for the three of you, not 4.
What? But she came into Barovia with us. You brought her here.
Well, the mist brought her. But it's funny, I specifically requested the three of you.
I don't remember that.
Well, you might not have been aware of it. And but eat. Please do not let all this food go to waste. I'm sorry you arrived a little later than expected. We have already dined for the evening.
Adia just kind of looks nervously away.
And I'm telling you, the food is just fantastic. It smells good. And he's like, don't worry. It's not poisoned.
It's no one we know.
Really?
Promise.
So yeah, you'll see Radon. He'll actually reach up and pull off his mask and set it on the table. It looks totally normal. Nothing weird about him at all.
Grandma's like, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Hold it in,
I'm
Grandma.
just gonna pull the Kakashi joke and have him somehow be able to eat through the mask.
So he'd been doing that up till now, but he figured he should take it off to be polite.
And yeah, it's
So earlier you mentioned that you knew Ismark's sister. Ismark, Ireena has memory problems, doesn't she?
Dad found her at a very young age. And she doesn't remember her former life.
Count Strahd, do you know anything about this?
I know a little, and the brides are just sitting there listening to you all talk, and one of them just keeps looking at you all and licking her lips. And Strahd's like, well, as you know, I have ruled this domain for many, many years now. And I really believe that Ireena is my beloved Tatiana reincarnated.
Reincarnated?
Yes.
Wait, who is this Tatiana?
A love of my life from a long time ago. And give me just a second, I'll pull up a little backstory. Helps if I can type.
Nope, none of that.
So yes, she was a peasant woman from Barovia that I fell in love with. And unfortunately, she was in love and engaged to marry my brother. And the first time I saw her, I fell madly in love with her. And I wanted her for myself. And on their wedding day, I killed Sergei and drank his blood as part of a deal to make Tatiana my bride.
Don kind of looks at the other women here, and he says, "I assume that didn't work out as you'd hoped."
No, unfortunately, it did not. Horrified by my actions, Tatiana jumped from a cliff that overlooks the valley below.
Well, that's kind of harsh.
And, yeah, and, you know, he's like, I'll tell you the rest of the story. And, you know, as part of the deal that I made, I was not allowed to die. And after killing my brother and Tatiana's jump out the window, I was shot by the castle guards. But I did not die. I awakened to what I am now.
Wow, that sounds like a rough day. My condolences.
Absolutely. But the Tatiana, as part of the deal, apparently she is doomed to reincarnate every time she dies, and she becomes a different person here in Barovia, and you know, it's just a side effect of you know, the pact that I made. And I'm really hoping that once Tatiana and I are truly together, the curse will lift.
What about the 3 wives you've got here? I mean, is Tatiana going to be like number 4 or?
When you say that, one of the wives looks at you and hisses, and she's like, I cannot wait to drink your blood.
Whatever. I'm just saying, you're going to be replaced. So are you going to become a footstool, or is that what F stands for? Footstool.
Sorry, I stepped away for a moment.
Oh, we're just talking.
He's trying to piss the
Provoke
women
a
off.
Reaction. All right, fine. Never mind. Whatever. You girls work it out amongst yourselves.
Count Strahd, you mentioned you made a deal to become what you are. With who did you make this deal?
The dark powers that be.
The Dark Powers? Do I know anything about this?
Give me just a second.
I don't think I do.
No, you do not, and he doesn't elaborate. Oh, no wonder I was, yeah, she's like, I can't wait to drink your blood, and she's like, hey, you're no match for me. And, she's politely threatening.
I just nod. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Floor says no. We know that Tatiana is his only love.
All
That
right. Well, as long as you guys.
We will continue to be his brides. I've got to stop.
All right. Well, if that works for you. I was just curious.
Radon kind of leans forward and he says quietly to you, Thralls don't really have a choice in the matter, so I wouldn't bring it up.
All right. I was just curious what their pecking order was.
And Valeria comes down and sits next to you, Villiers.
Fiv.
And she's like, here, let me pour you some more wine.
See, she wants me. She likes it.
Oh, she does. She wants you all right.
She thinks I'm hot.
No.
But Strahd's like, yes, now that you know the backstory, of why I am interested in Ireena,
Is there any way to tell? Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Is there any way to tell how much of his story is, like, if he's trying to manipulate us, or if he genuinely believes this, or...
He was really upfront about being the whole murder and eat my brother thing.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, that part I totally get, but it sounds like he wants us to get this chick, to bring her to him, so that they'll be together, and then that's going to bring the curse. I don't know how much of that is real or how much is fantasy, but do we have any way of telling, or we just kind of like, all right, well, Strahd said it, so he wouldn't lie because he's a heck of a guy.
He might not have all the information himself. We would need to do a bit of digging.
Yes, you could try an insight to, see what your character thinks, believes.
All right, let me try that. That's actually a class skill for me, so I'm going to try insight.
I'll roll it, but honestly, I don't think Strahd is working with a full deck here.
15. Probably nothing.
Considering what you know of Strahd, and you're weary to trust him, but you believe for the most part his story about Ireena and killing his brother, you absolutely believe is the truth. Whether or not it will end the curse, that's in doubt. But overall,
okay.
You feel he's being mostly honest with you.
Count Strahd, how is it that you know Ireena is the reincarnation of Tatiana? Is it just something you sense, or...?
Yes, it's a little more than a feeling. This is not the first time that I have pursued Tatiana in her new form over the years.
I think we heard a story or two about that.
Our fates are bound by a pact I made with the dark powers.
I see. Okay. Thank you. And I'm just gonna turn back to the dinner and my thoughts.
And, surprisingly, by now, I figured you would have asked me why I brought you here.
Well, it's just polite, isn't it? You invited us here to your home in the first place.
Yes, please, eat more food. It will go to waste.
But did you have a specific task in mind?
Well, yes, I do. And like I said, this isn't the first time that I've done this, and I've grown bored over the years. And at times, I like to bring in challenges, and I, I will bring adventurers, especially fabled monster hunters such as yourselves. Uh, Word of your exploits have reached even here. They never mentioned the old lady, and I can't put my finger on it. She just looks familiar or reminds me of someone. I I will have to contemplate that. But I brought you here to see if you all would be a challenge. But since your arrival, I have something new that I want from you all.
Is that so?
Yes.
What did you have in mind?
I want you to bring me Ireena so that I may finally wed my Tatiana.
I believe that would be Ireena's choice, would it not?
She has always been a little reluctant in the past, as you said earlier. She has memory problems.
And his Mark is totally just keeping his cool once the conversation goes in this direction.
Count Strahd, how long have you been pursuing Tatiana?
Several hundred years. And, Adia, the other vampire bride comes down and she's like, "Oh, you seem a little nervous. Here, let me pour you some more wine to soothe those jittery nerves of yours."
I don't drink any more of the wine.
Several hundred years.
Adia manages to stammer out a very nervous thank you, but she doesn't really make any movement towards the line.
and Vafir, this isn't like the shit you were drinking at the tavern in town. This is top-notch wine.
But you're a cleric. Don't you have any way to detect poison or some shit?
I can detect magic. I can detect evil. And I suspect that if I detect evil, I think we got a good idea what we're gonna find.
Get a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're gonna see me in a corner drooling.
You don't even have to detect it. You just feel it.
It's palpable.
So you've been seeking this Tatiana for hundreds of years. How many times have you actually had her in your grasp?
The last time I had Tatiana in my grasp, her adopted father killed her.
And what about before that? And before that? What's stopping you two from getting together? That shouldn't happen for several hundred years.
I have wondered that myself, and there's a time period between when she dies and when she gets reincarnated, and it takes time to find her, and then she's got to grow up to be an adult, so
Athia just kind of mumbles to herself, about whether or not this thing he made a deal with is just fucking with him.
I mean, honestly, that's the conclusion I'm coming to.
Well, that has,
It's like you made a deal with these dark powers. Are you sure they're not stringing you along?
that is something that I have wondered as well.
You've asked us to bring you Tatiana, but that's never worked in the past. Perhaps we should be looking into these dark powers instead.
I want you to retrieve Ireena from Wallachia, where you all just left her, and bring her here to the castle.
So I'm curious, why do you need us to bring her? I mean, you're a great and powerful person. Why don't you just send the carriage for her, or why don't you just go down to her? Why do you need us?
It's like, no, he's got a point. You're the lord of these lands. You have a legal right to wander wherever you please. Something's not right.
Yes, but not all my subjects like me, and yes, it is true. In the past, I have always just tried to take her myself.
You want her to come to you yourself.
No, I want you to bring her here, so I can restore her memory so that we may be wed. But I want you to do it without bringing, pissed off dads and so forth.
Well, her
Again,
father's dead, so that's not going to be much of a
cool
problem.
with this conversation.
Oh, Ismark is, you can see the smoke coming out of his ears. He's red. You can feel the anger just building, and he's like, no, we will not agree to that.
Ismark, please, calm down. But he does bring up a point. Even if we bring her here, if there's something that's purposely messing with you and this deal, then it's not going to work. Something will get in the way again.
If you bring her here and something prevents it, then I know it is the dark powers interfering with me.
So, do you have specifics on these dark powers? Like, was it a specific individual, like the devil, or was it a group of individuals, or just the dark cosmos? Who did you make this deal with?
He mentions a couple of names that mean absolutely nothing to you.
We're lacking in information.
Not to mention you're in a different plane of existence, so...
Yes, that's also a problem.
But Ismark is furious. He is pushed back off the table. He's like, I won't do it.
I'm gonna go ahead and stand up as well. I think we should take a recess here, Count Strahd.
Strahd is still very calm, and Valeria is poking fun at Ismark. Oh, I'll never stand for that. No, that's not gonna happen. and just continually goading him. And it's working.
All right, so we're going to lose Ismar. Anyway, what are the rest of us
I
doing?
think it's going to get a whole lot more violent than that. Strahd might be courteous, but I don't think the brides are here just to talk.
And meanwhile, Jeeves comes over and starts removing dirty dishes from the table, and he's back and forth and just totally oblivious to the conversation that's happening in the room.
I mean, he's a good butler. Why wouldn't he?
Bitches have us bracketed.
And Strahd looks at Ismark and, he's like, let me make your decision easy. Bring me Ireena here in 5 days' time, or Wallachia will suffer my wrath, and I will still have Ireena.
Yes, your message has been received, Strahd. And Rudon's gonna give a little bow and he says, "Thank you for the meal. We'll return to Vallaki now."
And just about that time, Jeeves comes back into the room, and he's carrying this tray that's got cakes and pies on it.
Or maybe dessert first.
Yeah, Strahd goes, "Hey, yeah, it's late. You've had a lot to eat. You're welcome to spend the night in the castle."
I think I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you.
You are free to explore anywhere you wish except the lower levels. Or I can have Jeeves summon the horses and return you back to your campsite by the lake.
One moment, please. And Radon leans into the others. What do you think? I think we need to do more research on what these dark powers are. We're not working with the full story here.
I concur. Besides, if we stay, Ismar is going to get in trouble. And
yes, he will undoubtedly try to kill someone.
And he's going to get eaten by the vampire women.
That would also be a problem.
Yeah, right now you can see his hand keeps going over to his sword, and at his feet is his crossbow.
Atia definitely agrees with heading out, and he's trying to calm Ismark down. Don't know how, but she's trying.
I think Ismark and Grandma should return to the campsite. There's things we can do here in the castle.
I was thinking more of a politely decline and we all leave.
What? You don't want to spend the night in Dracula's castle?
Tempting as that is.
As a player, yes. As my character, absolutely the fuck not.
I'm right there with you. Give me my EMF reader. I'm ready. So, while you're all discussing this, Jeeves is going around and setting out pies and cake and so forth on it, and everything that you've eaten or drank tonight has been the very finest that you've had in a really long time. The last time you ate this good is, when you killed that dragon outside of Waterdeep a few years ago and, had that big coin purse as a reward. And you're pretty sure that no one else in Barovia eats this way.
I wonder if it could all be an illusion. I wonder if he'd be insulted if I cast Dispel Magic on my food.
Honestly, I'm kind of reminded, since one of you said that, of that scene in Jojo Rabbit where the kid's digging through garbage for food and then his imaginary friend Hitler has the big unicorn head on a plate.
Do you want to try to discreetly cast it there here?
What do you guys think? Would it be grossly insulting if I tried to dispel magic on my food?
Yes, it would.
All right, I won't worry about it.
If you had meta magic and could do it subtly, then by all means, but...
Oh, wait a minute. I dropped my fork under the table. Let me get it. So, the options on the table is everyone going back, Grandma and Ismark going back, or everyone staying.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I had a child talking to me. She wouldn't shut up.
Everyone goes back to camp. Ismark and Grandma go to camp.
Yes.
Everyone stays.
Camp. I vote camp.
I vote camp, but I think we should also hear what Radon says since he's basically the party face at this point.
Of course, we could all go back to camp, just leave him, since he's not here to defend himself.
And just a reminder, the card reading had talked about a holy symbol of Ravenkind, or a holy symbol. It had talked about knowledge, a sword, and where you could find where you would find the enemy for the final battle. And the holy symbol, let's see, let's start with the weapon. The weapon, it talked about the marsh, the master of the marsh, which the only marsh in the area is Berez. The holy symbol, you're pretty sure, is at the place with the amber giants. The knowledge, and give me just a second, I'll reread exactly what the card said. And you're up here. The Berserker. Find Mad Dog's crypt. The treasure lies within, beneath blackened bones. And since you had the card reading before you buried the Burgomeister, you know there's
I'm
no
back.
Mad Dog at the Chapel Cemetery in Barovia. We're going back over the cards. The card reading. You know there's a holy symbol that's guarded by amber giants. You know about a sword of some sort. Ask the Master of the Marsh, which you figured out is Berez. There's talking about knowledge. And let's see.
Now, if this is a castle, it likely has family crypts in its under area.
Yeah, the very first card read tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your
They
enemy.
explicitly forbid us from going underneath the castle.
That is correct.
Okay, moving along. What else do we have? Small castle beneath a mountain. Amber giants. I don't think that's here. Kneeling woman. That's Berez. Dark Lord. We have no allies. Yet here's good old Ismark. I don't think he's going to survive if he stays with us. And then we have the Tempter. Secret place, a vault of temptation, hidden behind a woman of great beauty. So that's a vault hidden behind a portrait of some woman. The evil awaits atop his tower of treasure. A treasury? The only place that could be is probably here in the castle. That's 2 cards here in the castle. Both of which pursuing would probably piss Strahd off.
Well, you know, he said you were free to roam the castle if you wish. While you were out, you all took a vote on whether or not to go back to camp, send Grandma and Ismark, or everyone stay. And most of the party, with the exception of Ismark, is saying, let's get the fuck out of here.
But we have 2 objectives here, if I'm right. I'm not in favor of it, but Ismark and Grandma can't stay here.
And granted, you do have 2 objectives. But if you're gonna piss him off, don't you think you might want to have a weapon which might hurt him?
Yeah. I guess we'll have to leave that to if we come back.
And, while you all are whispering back and forth trying to figure out what you're gonna do, Strahd comes up behind Vafir and puts his hands on his shoulders, and he's looking.
Oh, easy there, big guy.
Just staring intently at Grandma, and Radon, you and Adia and Ismark, I'll just see this look of bewilderment on Strahd's face.
Maybe Grandma's the reincarnation, huh?
I don't think that's the case.
I would totally give him Grandma if that would get us out of this situation.
I think we have a bigger problem.
Oh my god, I'm so about ready to throw the storyline out the window and do that.
Just roll with it.
That would be cool. Chaos Lord to come back and be like, I'm sorry, I'm what? I'm who's bitch?
I mean, the one time I did Curse of Strahd, we didn't get too far into it, but apparently Strahd killed and replaced Ismark with himself.
And that was when I was prepping to do my run through the castle, which was my Thursday game that fell apart. One of the things I found was, as a one-shot, having Strahd try and replace one of the party members and have one of the other party members be the reincarnation. Which I didn't get a chance to have Strahd try and replace anyone, but I did sort of go with the second option. I threw in Ati as the reincarnation because I didn't really have enough people to actually have one of the players try and have one of the players do it.
So yeah, it seems like Curse of Strahd's very customizable.
Oh yes.
Oh, extremely.
But yeah, Grandma's kind of strange now that I'm thinking about it.
You should hop on Reddit and look up Mandy Mod. Massive overhaul of Curse of Strahd is awesome.
I shouldn't do that. That's spoilers.
Well, don't do it now, but
Only if I used them.
that is also true.
Yes, well, if everybody's... I guess I'm outweighed here. We should return to camp.
So, Strahd's like, I was extremely disappointed to hear that. It's not often we have invited guests to the castle.
No, perhaps we can come and see you again sometime.
Whatever you do, just don't bring a mob of people with you. Ha 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 ha.
That's actually kind of funny.
And he's like, in all seriousness, you have 5 days to deliver Ireena to me here at the castle, or I will retrieve her myself, and Valakia and you all shall receive my wrath.
Cheers. Good night.
And, just to further emphasize his point, you seem kind of get wavy for a moment, and he shape changes into this humanoid bat creature. And I mean,
Gets the elongated mouth, like.
yeah, I mean, it is just truly horrifying. And then he shape changes back into Strahd. I know what I'm up against. Do you know what you're up against?
I think I'm getting the picture.
Deliver her to me, or you will never leave this land.
And dead silence there.
Valeria looks up at Strahd and she goes, if they don't do it, can I eat this one? And she's just draping her arms like a drunken girlfriend all over Vafir.
I'd like to point out the amount of restraint I currently am having, not throwing holy water all over.
Just, I don't know. Winter purposely sussed you out of the figure, and he's got you surrounded.
Oh, I see it. Oh, yeah. No. I know where he's going with this.
It was the luck of the draw that Grandma ended up across from him. And Adia, what's your response to Strahd turning into this monstrous form and back again?
I was going to wait until everybody was leaving to say this, but since you asked, Atya has literally passed out on her, standing upright.
We're just we start to go up and we're like, all right, come on, Adia. Adia. So yeah, we'll pick up Grandma with her audio over our shoulders, and we'll we'll start to head for the front door.
As you pick up Grandma, she's kind of conscious for a minute, and she sees Adia laying there, and goes, here, I got some smelling salts, and kind of fumbles the bottle.
Pulls out that flask that knocked her out. She's like, here, I would drink of this.
And yeah, that you recognize it as the stuff that she was drinking last night. And you wave it under out of his nose, and I mean, it's coughing and gagging, and she's instantly awake.
Yes, let's go.
Go,
We'll
go.
excuse ourselves and get out of here before stuff happens.
And yes, and Valeria reluctantly lets go of you. And, you know, uh, it seems like I will summon the carriage right away. And you all go back out into the courtyard, and Strahd's walking behind you, and Ismark, she's like, I will not let you have her. If it's the last thing I do, Count Strahd, I will kill you.
Yeah, yes, that's Mark. I think that's exactly what his plan is. Let's go.
And Strahd just suppresses a chuckle. And safe journeys, my friends. I will see you in 5 days' time.
We'll just we'll give him a little goodbye wave. We'll get in the carriage.
And the carriage takes off at breakneck speed, going down the rocky roads, and we've all seen the Dracula movie.
Hundreds of bats flying around it.
Absolutely. And eventually you are back at your campsite. The horses screech to a halt, the door opens, and you're getting out of your own accord, but it almost feels like the carriage is kicking you out.
Okay.
And guys, if you don't care, this is a great time to take 10 minutes.
Sounds good to me.
All right, I gotta let the dog out.
There.
Just waiting on Esky. So, what do you think about adding another player?
Fine with me.
Let me get it. Get a change out grandma.
Or is it
Yeah.
someone who can balance out grandma's insanity?
Take a lot of boring to balance out grandma.
But I was thinking I could do a future character who's an old man, either a Way of the Shadow Monk or some kind of samurai. Just have him be called Oji-san. He wouldn't be nearly as insane as Grandma is, but I think it'd be an amusing follow-up.
Oh, then your backstory, you were separated from the love of your life, and you've dedicated your entire life to finding Grandma.
I was thinking you could be Morgan Freeman to his Driving Miss Daisy.
Oh, if I could do the voice.
Yeah, it's a tough voice to do. Did you see that a couple weeks ago? What's his face? Finally sold the rights to Darth Vader's voice. I didn't know that James Earl Jones owned the rights
I didn't know
to
that.
Darth Vader. Yeah, he actually. I don't know if he sold them or if he just gave them up, but he's like 80 something or 90 even, and he's like, you know what, it's time for someone else. So he gave up the rights to Darth Vader, the voice, which
Wow.
got me to thinking. I wonder how much money he has made over the last 45 years.
Enough, apparently.
Since 77, 78, something like that. So, yeah, I think he's done okay.
It's not like anybody's going to be able to.
Makes you wonder if he gets paid for the voice or just if people use the voice.
Both.
Those are going to be some big ass shoes to fill.
Well, I don't think they'll ever have another movie with Darth Vader in it per se. I mean, you might see other stuff, but...
they will.
This is
You severely
absolutely
underestimate just how creatively bankrupt they are.
Yeah, Disney. Did you see what happened to their stock? Disney just got bent over the barrel. They're down, what, $100 a share or something this year?
Yep, and they're just going to keep dropping because they have no talent left. Like they're actually running into the issue of they can't produce anything of value, and they're running out of intellectual property to buy.
Well, yeah, I mean they actually have more subscribers than Netflix, but yet they're and Netflix, they all have the same problem. They're just, yeah, it's like you said, you just can't. How many Star Wars movies can you crank out? People are tired of them.
And they can't make anything new.
Apparently, they're making a sequel to Enchanted.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, why bother?
It was a kind of a weird movie. Came out, I don't know how long ago. It could arguably be considered an isekai. It's basically a cartoon princess gets tricked into the real world, and chaos ensues.
The only thing I really remember about Disney is like they made the Black Cauldron movie a long time ago.
I remember that movie,
and then they've tried to memory hole.
I fucking loved that movie. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a copy of it here somewhere. I'm pretty sure I had the book somewhere.
I think Disney's problem is they've strayed from their roots too far. I mean,
oh, absolutely.
Regardless of your thoughts on the culture wars, conservatives are walking away
from everything. Believe me, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, they have a diversity lady who's in charge of making sure that a certain amount of content meets
EGS score.
Yeah, and she comes out and she says, I don't care how pissed off they get. Every movie going forward is going to have X number of LGBTQ characters, which is fine. I mean,
their stock drops.
Yeah, and then their stock starts, that fight with DeSantis. Again, regardless of whatever side you're on, if as a shareholder, I'd be pissed. Because I'd be like, quit worrying about stupid shit like that stupid "Don't Say Gay" bill, and start worrying about how you're going to make me money. But they just can't stop themselves.
They get the BlackRock money now. They don't need the shareholders.
Well, that's the thing, though, is so they announced layoffs today. Layoffs are coming and restructurings, and here it comes. And then they're really creative people, like the guy that started Pixar. After they acquired Pixar, he became big. He was the guy that did Tangled, which was very popular, and he was a big driving force at Disney. And then somebody came out and said he made an inappropriate joke, so they fired him. Like, oh, you're out of here, dude. And you made a dick joke. All right, that's fine. But now you can't keep firing your creative talent, the people that make you money, and then be like, oh, well, we don't make money anymore, So they try to make it up by charging $150 a person per day to get into one of their shitty theme parks. It's just like...
And incredibly, their theme park attendance drops. Who'd have guessed?
Yeah.
This is really funny because tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., my business partner, his girlfriend, and son and daughter-in-law are going to Disney for 7 days.
I'm sure they'll have a great time.
There should be plenty of room for them. So I took my kids there. They hated it. They were like 10 and 12, the perfect age, and they didn't identify with any of the stuff. The rides were lame.
Six Flags is much better.
Yeah, my kids we took them on Space Mountain, and Space Mountain is basically just a very rickety old wooden roller coaster in the dark.
Yeah.
That's really all it is. And my son, who's big in roller coasters, is like, was that it? I'm like, yes, son, that was Space Mountain, which 40 years ago was a big deal. Yeah. Swiss Family Robinson was from the 60s. And they've still got this big tree in the middle of their park that you can climb. And there's a huge line to climb up this tree. So we stood in line for an hour, got up in the tree, we're looking around. It's basically furniture. And my kid looks at me, he's like, why are we here? I'm like, well, son, 50 years ago, this was a big deal.
Yep.
That's it.
I mean, I've got a tree in my yard I can go climb.
Yeah, we could have taken the money. That whole vacation cost us, I want to say, around $8,000. By the time you figured it, airfare and hotel and tickets and food, and afterwards, people were like, "What was it like?" I said, "It's like you step off the plane, and Mickey Mouse sticks a gun in your ribs, and then Donald Duck comes and takes your wallet, takes all the money out, throws it on the ground. Pluto slaps you, says, 'That's right, you're my bitch,' and then they walk off, and there you are in the airport, bleeding and broke."
And Mickey Mouse gives you a little as he walks off.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good thing that my one trip to Disneyland was Tokyo Disneyland.
Maybe that was better, but we were really disappointed in Disney World.
I went with my sister. We didn't really go on any like big rides, but we mostly went to like all the parades and shit, and we had a blast.
Maybe that's where we went wrong. See, my kids wanted to do the rides.
Or something sometime.
They wanted to go on the elevator ride. It's the haunted elevator. I don't know what it's called. Anyway,
Haunted Mansion.
No, this was these two, like Elevator of Terror or something. Anyway, basically you get on elevators, they start to go up, and then they drop, and then they go up and they drop. It's kind of a up and down thing.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah. You see those rides at fairs all the time. Yeah. It's just the same thing. But this was an elevator and a big theme or whatever.
They waited 2.5, 3 hours to get on that thing, and it lasted 90 seconds, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they come off like, "We want to go again. We want to go again." My wife looks at me. She's like, because I wouldn't go. I'm like, no, I'm not going to stand in 3 hours, line 3 hours to get on that thing. And so I just sat there on a bench, reading my book, hanging out. And she's like, "Nope, that was it. Hope you enjoyed it." I turned around and left because it's so bad. Yeah, Disney's really lost their way. It's really too bad. But
I'm real happy about it.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I still liked the old movies, the ones that were funny. But
yeah,
I want to see that bitch burn.
Well, they even ruined that. Like if you watch the one with the Cocker Spaniel, Lady and the Tramp. If you watch that, there's a scene in there where there's Siamese cats that are they're the bad guys.
I fucking love that song.
Yeah. Now there's a disclaimer on there before you watch the movie. Yeah, a trigger warning that there are images that are offensive to some people in this movie. They got rid of Song of the South, which was at one time that was considered groundbreaking because
I have it.
Oh, really? It's probably worth money.
You can, you can find all kinds of things in the right spots on the internet.
Didn't they redo
None of it's legal, but
didn't they redo Splash Mountain or something because it was based on that movie?
I don't know. Again, like I said, when we went, they tried to incorporate a bunch of Pixar rides, like they had a Lilo and Stitch ride, which was horrifically stupid. Yeah, they were trying to update rides, but whoever's doing their ride designs sucks. They were just lame.
They have the Millennium Falcon now.
Who cares? I mean, it's like what's that other? Who got the Harry Potter gig?
Universal.
Yeah, Universal. Good luck getting into Harry Potter at Universal Studios. I mean, even now, the line is like 5 hours just to get in. And there's massive crowds in there. My stepmom tried to go with her kids, and she said it was just a nightmare.
Wow.
Anyway.
I think the only thing that I was disappointed in with Disneyland was one of those like train ride things around the park.
Oh, right.
And the only reason that I was disappointed in that is because I'm so used to the one that they have at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, because that runs through this whole small fake town of animatronic skeletons doing a whole bunch of dumb shit. And when we got on that ride in Disneyland, we were hoping for something like that, and they didn't have it, so.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Okay,
Disney's
back to the game.
Yep, back to the game. Now we've dissected Disney's problems.
which will probably end up resulting in me getting banned from YouTube.
Nobody likes YouTube anyway.
It's overrated.
Too many trigger words.
Disney, a trigger word.
Honestly, I don't even use YouTube anymore. I just use a smattering of other video services.
Oh man, there is no new content, and I don't know if I read it somewhere or we talked about it a couple of games ago, but the guy was talking about look at like The Witcher on Netflix. How much does it cost them to make that show? What?
Witcher?
Yeah,
Oh.
100 million, 50 million
Not nearly that much.
for 8 episodes. Well, the one with The Rock, a Netflix movie. They spent like 300 million on it.
Jesus.
And you spend all this money to not even get 8 hours of content, and it's consumed in 8 hours. For most people, they sit and binge watch it, and the model, it's not sustainable. You're going to run out
That's
of
true.
content or money to make content, and so
Yeah, it's like Amazon paid $1 billion for the Lord of the Rings rights.
yeah,
$1
and
billion.
Fuck it up.
Well, that was rights, and also that's how much they're obligated to spend developing 5 seasons of the Rings
Other
of Power.
show nobody likes.
I'm sorry?
Of a show that nobody likes.
Yeah, the one that
Yeah.
that just they were doomed. They should have known they were doomed. There's too many fanboys. There's no way to, unless they hired Peter Jackson. I think that's the only way they could have saved it.
yeah, that would have been acceptable, and even The Witcher. Henry Cavill's leaving. They just a memo or something leaked where it was in an interview. One of the showrunners is like the writers. A lot of them don't like the source material. They do not like the video games. They are openly mocking the source material in creative meetings, and
Crazy.
Henry Cavill said, he would commit to 5 seasons of The Witcher as long as the writers maintain, off the source material.
Writers are to be enslaved.
Yeah. Well, it's
I mean, that's literally the whole reason you have not writers, but publishers. They basically act as tard wranglers.
HBO figured it out years ago. You put a combination of sex, naked chicks, and violence in any series, and you'll make money. They did it with what's her face, Xena Warrior Princess, Lucy Lawless, in that, and the dude off The Mummy. What was that? Spartacus? I don't remember. Roman orgies and violence made tons of money. Game of
They don't have
Thrones.
sex in it.
I was under the impression it did. I actually never saw it, but from what I read, it had a lot of nakedness.
Which one?
The one with Lucy Lawless.
Xena? No.
No. The HBO one she did. Before Game of Thrones, before there was The Sopranos, there was...
Not actually the show Xena, but the actress from it.
Yeah. Spartacus. It was Spartacus.
I did not know she was in that.
Yeah, she was, I think, the title female. Anyway, Spartacus. They figured it out. You put enough boobies and violence in a series, and people will watch it.
They fucked up Game of Thrones hiring Deborah.
Horrible way to end a series. But anyway, okay, you're back at the campsite. You've taken a long rest. You just had a very interesting dinner with the Count. And you're setting out for Berez, which pretty much you go west across the bridge over the Luna River and hang a left and go south. And I figured that was what? 1, 3, 4 miles. Okay, yeah, you're on this, you're pretty much on a trail following the river. And it hugs the river for several miles, and the dirt and grass soon start turning to marsh as the trail dissolves into spongy earth, pockmarked with strands of tall reeds and pools of stagnant water. There's this thick shroud of fog covering everything, and you can see through the fog that scattered throughout the marshes are old peasant colonies, old peasant cottages, and their walls are covered with black mildew, the roofs are caved in. They seem to hunker down into the mire. And, it's almost like they've long since given up on escaping the mud. And you hear the buzzing of flying insects, and everywhere you look, you see black clouds of flies dart about, looking for food.
Cherry.
And on the far side of the river, the fog is much thinner. And it's about 12:30. And I should have a map for you. No, that's Velaki. That's Berez. And gentlemen, welcome to the abandoned town of Berez. And I'm just gonna throw party token on there.
One square is 100 feet. Yeesh.
So, just so I'm clear, now that we're away from the count and we can discuss it openly, we're not actually going to bring some chick up there to let him.
No, because even if we did, these dark powers would probably interfere, and then we would be stuck with a pissed off vampire. We need to get to the bottom of what the dark powers are.
You're damn straight we're not taking my sister to that bastard.
And to be entirely blunt, if she really is some kind of reincarnation, then there's a bigger problem.
Okay, and you all are in the pretty much the western corner of the map. And over to the east, right in there, like I said earlier, the fog is much thinner on that side of the river. And you can see something flashing like a glint off a mirror.
I guess I'll approach to have a closer look.
And as you all start headed east, and you're bypassing houses that are in the ruins, to your immediate north there is a mansion that's sinking into the mire and so forth. As you get closer to the river and you can see more into the fog, you can see a single figure standing there. And it's like, it's a little hard to tell, but you can see the flash. And he's standing amid this dark ring of stones that are standing up on their ends.
Bit creepy, but I guess we could go say hello. So we'll make our way over there. Oh wait, it's on the other side of the river, isn't it?
Yes.
I don't need sim that bad.
Yeah, it's definitely a river, but it's not like you're trying to cross the Mississippi River or anything. It looks shallow-ish.
Before we go any further, Radon's going to find Steed.
Also, real quick, maybe I missed something, but how did we end up coming in from the southwest?
You cutting out there, mate?
How did we end up coming into Brez from the southwest? Didn't we come in from this direction?
It's magic.
Yes, sorry. Good catch. So yeah, you're over there.
But yeah, Radon will find Steed, and he'll have a warhorse come trotting out of the mists, and he'll throw Grandma on its back.
Grandma's like, be gentle. I feel sick at my stomach.
Yeah, so we'll just have the horse carry Grandma, and we'll continue on.
So, the point where you all decide to cross, the river's got a nice little flow to it, but it's not more than 6 to 7 feet deep.
Oh, not more than 6 to 7 feet deep.
Yes. In the very middle.
I don't suppose anybody has anything that could help.
Well, I mean, you have a horse.
It's not 6 to 7 feet tall.
Ati is like 5'3" in full plate. She's not crossing that river on her own.
I mean, I could get across,
I beg to
but
differ. If you're looking at an average horse, you're looking up at it.
I mean, I could get across, no problem. But fine. Go ahead. Go ahead and ride that horse across the river, I guess.
Yeah, you make it across the river. You know, Grandma's wet, and Grandma's had a time or two having to go under the water, and she's coughing and sputtering, but she's alive and no permanent harm done.
That's a shame. Anyway, I'll throw a rope back for the other two, and they can use it to get pulled across if they wish.
Are you two gonna rope climb? Or are you jumping in?
How deep is it again?
7 feet.
Do I have a swim skill?
Just hold on to the rope and I'll pull you across.
I'll hold on to the rope. He'll pull me across.
I'm gonna ride on Vaffer's shoulders because you're like what, 8 feet tall?
I am, but I'll hold on to the rope anyway. Be just my luck. I get out there and get sucked into the water and pulled away.
Not his riding piggyback. Because again, if he went with the rope, she would fucking drown.
Glug, 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 glug. So yeah, we'll all get across there.
Okay. You see a dozen moss-covered standing stones forming a near-perfect circle in the spongy earth. And these weathered stones range in height from 15 to 18 feet. A couple of them lean inward. And you see a wary-looking peasant woman standing behind the tallest stone, and you can see that she has a tiny pocket mirror and in one hand and a dagger clutched in the other.
Before I approach, I'm going to use divine sense to let me know the presence of any undead celestials or fiends within 60 feet.
Undead, celestial, or fiends. It's probably not a good sign that I'm typing.
Kind of weird to find a random woman out in the middle of an old ruin.
Yeah, no, you do not.
Huh. Alright, I guess we'll go ahead and approach.
And yeah, as you walk over, you know, she's cautiously she's very cautious around you, and you know, she's kind of peeking around the stone looking at you as you're walking closer, and finally she steps out and goes, I see you all are headed into Perez.
Well, we were, but then we spotted your mirror over here, and we thought we'd see what somebody was doing here in the swamp.
She's like, yes, I wanted to get your attention before you were fool enough to stumble into the town. Uh, I don't recognize you all. Where are you all from? You're dressed strangely.
Suppose I'll continue talking to her. Oh, we're not from around here. We were invited by the Count. I take it I don't need to explain what that means.
No, I'm very familiar with who you mean. And, yeah, I'm the friend of the local winemakers. And, well, someone who lives here stole something from them, and, I'm, just keeping an eye on it to see if I can locate it.
Somebody lives here.
She looks at you and she's like, do you not know?
No, we were following a, what would you call it? He looks at the others, a card reading by an old gypsy woman.
Ah, Madame Eva, yes. Well, Perez was abandoned long ago after the river rose and flooded the village. And
Yes, we know this part.
in the years that followed, an ancient and powerful hag moved into a hut in the middle of the village.
Sorry, did you say a hag?
Yes.
That's not good.
Heck.
Baba Lasaga.
I don't suppose she would be considered the master of these marshes, would she?
Well, I mean, she's the most powerful being here. And, she moved in a long time ago, claimed the village as her own, and, she's either in her hut or she's flying around the countryside in a giant skull.
There's something you don't see every day.
You heard that correct. A hag flying around in a giant skull.
In a pair of assless chaps.
God, no.
She's a motor hag. Like a hag's angel.
And you say she's set up in the ruins over there?
Yes, she has a hut built on a massive tree stump.
Righty. There's something you don't see every day.
Hag, big old skull, tree stump.
And I didn't point this out on the approach, but as you all were getting closer and closer to Perez, you started seeing old scarecrows every so often. And the lady you're talking to, who, by the way, her name is Mariel, and she tells you that the scarecrows around here are murderous creatures that are under the hag's control. And they surround her hut and serve as a early warning system. she continues by saying, periodically she will send her scarecrows to attack the Wizard of Wine, which is a winery and vineyard. The name seems familiar, and when you were drinking in the tavern in town, you remember seeing their flyer on the bar, or stamped on a bottle of wine or a cask. And she made enemies of the vineyards and ended up stealing something from them, which, I'm just helping out by pretty much spying on her to see if I can get any information about the stolen object. And, she's also, beside the hut, has several mountain goats that are in a pen. I'm sorry. The mountain goats are near a mansion, not beside the house. And, I guess everyone's gotta eat. But yes, an ancient and powerful hag. And she asked why you all are here.
Sorry, what's happening?
She's asking why you all are here.
So I already told her. We're here looking for the, we're here following the
Right, the master.
fortune telling of the old gypsy woman. And we're looking for the master of the marsh. I'll repeat to her the sentence in question. I see a kneeling woman, a rose of great beauty, plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak. So unless you know anything about that, I will have to ask her.
No, the master of the marsh, like I said, Baba Lysaga is, she's pretty much the only one that's living here in the marsh, so I don't know if that means her or not.
No, she's the best place to start. Hags are prone to making deals, if I recall correctly. Maybe we can walk in and out of this without having to kill anything.
Well, good luck. I never go into town. I prefer just to spy here from the outskirts.
You said earlier that she stole something from someone you know. What was it?
I'm good friends with the family, but all they would tell me is apparently it was like a big gem.
Interesting. Well, if things go sideways, we'll retrieve it from her dead body. And I guess we'll thank her and we'll start making our way back across.
Okay, so you're back across the river. Ahead of you, you see a cluster of Dilapidated cottages separated by a lone stone wall. There's a stretch of dirt that has remained intact. And, I'm sure at some point in time you might have peeked in a window of one of the cottages, but you see rotted furnishings and nothing of value. And that would bring you in on this road. As you get to the end of the road, you can see that someone has built a ramshackled wooden hut on the stump of what was once an enormous tree. You can see the rotting roots of the stump thrusting up from the mire. It almost looks kind of like a gigantic spider in appearance. You can see an open doorway is visible on one side of the hut. And beneath it, you can see an upside down, hollowed out skull of what you assume is a giant floating in the air.
I guess that means she's home.
And flanking the hut's doorway are two iron cages that dangle like hideous ornaments from the eaves. And you can see scores of ravens have been jammed into each one. And you can see that they're overpacked for the cage that they're in. And the birds are very noisy. I mean,
Disgusting.
The closer you get to the hut, you're pretty sure that you're not going to be able to hear anything over the loudness of all these birds that are cacawing.
I wonder if it'd be possible to steal the skull and
Really?
joyride. The haggis look out and just see, blah! Off goes the cleric. No, you bastards!
And
that'd be cool.
Toward the south of you, you see the remains of a mansion built on higher grounds, and the mansion's been reduced to stone and rotting timber. South of it, you can see an untamed garden running rampant. It's surrounded by these broken walls that no longer hold back the garden. And to the east of it, you can see a crude wooden fence forming a circular yard in which several goats are contained. The weird thing is that on top of the fence post are human skulls.
Huh. Well, who wants to knock on the front door? He looks to Adia and Vafir.
Absolutely not me.
Wow, we're just going right for it, aren't we?
I mean, we're only here to ask a question.
You know that never works out for you.
That's not true. It worked out with Strahd. We asked him
Smart.
questions
Get in
all
there.
last time.
Get in there, Ismark.
He is not going anywhere near the human skulls building. He just got finished hyperventilating over Strahd's monster form.
Okay, I guess I'll saunter on up there then and knock on the front door.
Let's see. Do they have a contingency for actually knocking on the front door versus going in guns blazing?
Seriously?
um, yeah, your assumption was right. By the time you get up to the hut, the noise of the raven are just insane, and they are getting excited the closer you get. And the upside down skull floating next to the hut, being closer to it, you can tell it's a hill giant skull. It's been hollowed out and magically transformed into a vehicle.
I'm stealing that. I got dibs on the hill giant skull. Just saying.
And let's see.
Just keep thinking of the stormtroopers on the speeders in the forest. The second movie, third movie. Revenge of the Jedi. That was it.
With them bashing into trees and...
Yeah, I wouldn't bash into trees, but yeah, when they were zipping through the forest. You know, they filmed that up here in Washington State. The whole rainforest.
Shit. Give me just a second. I'm unmasking a map. And I still did it wrong. And okay. Yes, as you approach, and it's just Radon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can see the hut is 15 foot on each side, and you know the door is kind of open, and
Is there supposed to be anything on this map?
what do you see? You don't see the image?
Nope.
No, I just gotta.
Well, if the image is a black screen with white lines, then yes. But otherwise, no.
Basically.
How about now?
No.
Nope.
Okay. Let's go over here. Anything?
Nope.
Okay, let's do a reshare.
Still got nothing. Yep, there it goes.
Aha. This map wasn't set up for line of sight, but line of sight was turned on. And Esky, as you get closer, you can see that the inside of the hut, you know, it's what you would expect. It's got a cot and a cabinet and a wardrobe, a wooden table,
A hag.
and you can hear noise from inside the hut. But from your vantage point, you can't see all the inside of the hut.
I mean, I'm knocking on the door.
Okay, well, if you are on the door, then yeah, you see a little bit more than that. Um,
Should the rest of us like at least be a little closer to provide Radon a little bit of support? Or are we just going to hang back really far and watch? Hope for the best.
I don't
well,
know. What are you doing?
Ismark's not scared.
I'll be up there. Not right up there. I mean, yeah, there we go. That's a
Yep.
good spot.
And just so she's not left out, we'll put audio on the map.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Right there in the light of fire.
And Esky, when you get up to the door, in the southwest corner, you can see an iron tub. And it seems to be stained red. And almost like it's blood. However, in the middle of the room, you do see a ghastly wooden crib with a small angelic child sitting in it. And can I get you to make a perception?
Everybody or just Radon?
Just for Don.
Okay. Hidden or open?
Either. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Effort.
shit.
On the DM side, you never see the dice tower. And I always forget about it. Yeah. it just seems strange that you were told there's a hag, and yet here's a small angelic child sitting in the middle of this crib. And from beneath the crib, you can see a green light seeping up through the cracked floorboards. And as you knock,
So we're just going straight into that thing.
I didn't like that.
no, it didn't. As you knock, suddenly Baba pops into view, and you are face to face with this hag.
Oh, she's a pretty one. Hope she's on
Right.
Match.com.
Really?
Swipe right for her.
And Rudon will go ahead and nod his head, and he'll greet her. I can't really talk right now, so I'm just going to describe what's happening. And he'll tell her about how they received a fortune telling from a Vistani woman, and it brought them here to seek out the master of the swamp.
The master of the swamp.
Or the marsh, as it is.
Yes, the marsh, and she's like, oh, you're probably talking about just a second to find his name. Laszlo Ulrich.
Laszlo Ulrich.
Yeah.
I was under the impression that only you lived here.
Well, very much. I am the only living creature in the area. But Laszlo was the Burgomeister of Berez.
Judging by how you're speaking, I'm going to wager a guess that he's still lingering in the area.
It's possible. Lots of things linger in this area. And she's
Well
like,
then,
I'm sorry, where are my manners? Why don't you come in and grab a seat and I'll fix you something to drink?
Radon kind of looks over his shoulder at the other three, and he nods and he thanks her, and he steps in.
Oh my God, you actually did.
Yes, we received the fortune telling from the Vistani. It told us to seek out the master of the swamp. If that's not you, then this must simply be a case of mistaken identity.
Let's see.
There's nothing for this, is there? It's just bang, bang, bang.
Really, she's got a little bit of backstory that really doesn't tell a whole lot. And yes, as you enter the doorway, the ravens actually go crazy. I mean, they are really excited whether to see you or trying to warn you. You are not quite sure. And let's see. But she brings you in, sets you down, offers you some tea. And, you know, she recants to you the sad tale of Perez that you already know, and the years that followed, and um, um,
Sorry, I had to step away for a second.
you did not miss a thing, and I have just been over and over this, and
It assumes pure combat, doesn't it?
yeah, pretty much. The only The only other possible lead-in would have been if you would have went to the mansion first. But, you know, like I said, she's got a backstory that ties her into Strahd. But really, there's no interaction with her other than fighting her.
She just kind of exists.
Yeah.
No, I guess we're done here. I asked her a question. She said she wasn't that person, and that she's going to take a swipe at me. I'll just excuse myself and go. She going to take a swipe at me.
Let's see, you know what? I was looking for alignment. I figure a hag is probably evil.
Oh yeah, they are super evil. They're also prone to
They're like extra evil.
stealing souls and eating babies.
There's
in that order.
K or CELE and XE. This is XE or even XXE.
Of course, they're also prone to making deals and the like. They're intelligent evil.
She's like, I have given you information. What are you going to give me in return?
What would you like?
What you got?
Nothing I can think
Grandma.
of. Oh, how about this? He pulls out the oversized sewing needle from his backpack. I have no idea how I got this.
Was that a rabbit I saw in your bag?
Yes.
Can I have it?
No, I'm afraid not. I'm still very curious as to where it came from, too.
All kinds of weird things happen in Barovia.
Oh, yes, we got swept up here by the mists, and it was quite the trip.
And the baby makes a noise, and Baba goes over to it, and to see this hag make cooing noise, and she's like,
Do I need to make a sanity check?
"Be calm, Strahd. It's okay. These gentlemen are just here for information."
I'm sorry, did you say Strahd?
Yes, that's the baby's name.
They wouldn't be related to the Count, would he?
He is the Count. I'm his mother.
Oh, things are getting weird.
Is that so?
Yeah. Got anything you
Oh.
want to roll now?
Acrobatics, athletics, something for getting the fuck out of here. I think I'll peer a little closer at that crib.
You look at this hideous crib, and the baby appears normal, and not that you've seen the Count's baby pictures, but there could be a resemblance. And
Huh.
you are a yeah, why don't you try like an intelligence?
I don't have any of that.
I have a theory, but I'm outside the hut, so I'll just keep it to myself.
I could do insight.
I would even give you wow. You really suck at anything intelligence based.
Yeah, he's a charisma caster.
I would give you Arcana.
I'd like to step forward and ask a question of Baba Lusaga.
Okay, please do.
Out of curiosity, how long has this baby been here with you? A long time, or?
All of its life.
Did you, by any chance, were you part of a deal with the Count at one time?
No. I had a deal with the Count's parents to raise him.
But it's still a baby. It's not. I mean, his true parents passed away hundreds of years ago. Has this baby been with you for hundreds of years?
What are you trying to say?
We just met a guy who says he was the Count, and he's hundreds of years old. He's basically immortal. So I'm just curious if you helped him get that way, maybe, or were you involved in that?
I am the baby's mother.
Okay. So you are Strahd's mother.
Yes, I'm Strahd's mother. Everyone knows that. Yeah.
Alrighty. All right, I guess we're done here then. Thank you very much.
Ismark is looking like what?
Confused?
No one knows that. she flips back and forth. Yes, I had to deal with the parents to raise the baby. This is my baby. And you realize that she's quite mad.
Okay.
And you being a cleric, do you want to try Arcana or something with a little bit of intelligence?
My intelligence is 8. I've got a great wisdom. I got a great wisdom.
Oh my god!
I'm all about religion. Praise the Lord and pass the potatoes.
So if we assume that Ati has been standing close enough to have a grasp of the situation, I am for some fucking reason not proficient in Arcana, but I am a wizard, so my intelligence is pretty high. I can make that roll. See where we go. I got an 18.
And
I will donate that 18 to Radon.
you are pretty sure that that child is a magical illusion and not real. And you're pretty sure that the green light coming up from under the floorboard shining on the crib is probably magical.
Okay, I have a couple questions, one of which is potentially stupid. Are we, as both the characters and players, expecting this fight to actually break out? Guys?
Well, I mean,
Sorry, I stepped away for a second.
repeat the question for Radon, because he's the one that's actually up there in its face.
I'm just
What is
asking, are we, as both as players and our characters, expecting this fight to break out?
No, I thought we were speaking very cordially with each other.
Oh, okay, so wait, you said you stepped away. Did you hear one of you say that the baby in the crib is most likely an illusion?
Oh, no, I did not. Though
Yeah.
that would make sense.
That's based on Adia's Arcana.
Ability
okay.
to roll. Ability
Yeah.
to roll better than us.
Hags are very, very evil and sometimes very, very crazy. So, yeah.
We should probably
I ain't
just
gonna say
whack it
nothing.
and take its stuff.
They're also really, really strong.
There you go.
Yeah, because if Atia can see, because since we all now, or at least Atia now knows that the baby is not likely to be a real baby, assuming that she can actually see into the hut, she could cast Bigby's hand inside the hut and, like, poke the crib and see what happens.
Let's refrain from that.
You want to put a big, magical, floating, visible hand and have it poke a baby.
Yeah, let's
Not the
not do
baby,
that.
the crib.
Let's not touch that baby illusion thing. Although I will ask Baba, what's that glowing under the floorboards?
That's none of your business.
No, all right.
Hey,
Didn't
Kim
want
doesn't
your,
know.
you look like a strong individual. I gave you information. I need a favor.
what'd you have in mind?
Go down to my pen and bring me one of the animals back.
Well,
Help
okay.
an old lady if you would. You know, these old bones aren't what they used to be.
One of the goats, right?
Evil bones.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that. I'll go ahead and wander on over that way.
Okay, you wander over that way, and yeah, there's a crude pen with goats in it.
Wait, you said that there were human skulls on the goat fence pen?
Yes.
Adia, I'm probably going to regret this, but, can you divine whether or not these creatures have been, transformed?
Uh,
You broke up,
not,
Sheer.
not necessarily with a spell, unless I can just like blindly cast counter spell on them. But I don't think
I
counter
have
spell
a
works that way.
suspicion that these are people who have been polymorphed.
If I do another Arcana check, would that work?
I will give you the help action to grant you
Unless
advantage on
unless
it.
somebody has detect magic.
It's okay. Roll Arcana with advantage.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just
There you go.
a
Holy cow. Okay, with your Arcana, uh, you are able to detect the presence of an alarm spell cast upon each one of the skull heads.
But the goats themselves are normal.
The goats are normal.
No, well, okay. I'll go ahead and I'll wrangle up a goat and I'll bring it back towards the hut.
is the alarm spell going to trigger if we mess with the goats?
Uh,
Well, even if
as
it did, Baba's right there, and she's the one who told us to go there.
well, she told you, and since so far it's just been you in the pen, no, the skulls are not alarming.
Yeah.
So I'll wrangle up the goat. I'll bring her back her goat. There you are.
Well, thank you. Would you put it over there near the tub for an old lady?
Sure. I'll
And
bring her goat in.
yeah, she walks over to you by the goat, and she reaches down and grabs it by the horns and pulls its head back, and a dagger flashes, and she cuts the throat, and the head plops over, and the blood starts flowing into the tub.
Quick hand.
And she's like, "Thank you. Uh, uh, Years and years of practice. Now, if you'll excuse me," and she's looking at you, and she drops her robe.
Oh.
Ah!
I turn and I start to depart.
And well, not quite yet. You're just kind of shocked.
And you've gone blind.
I'm afflicted with blindness.
You can feel this image burning into your retinas.
Onto your frontal lobe.
It will take many years and hundreds of therapists to get you over this traumatic experience. And as you're trying to turn away, you see her get into the bathtub. And she starts covering herself.
Well, creepy, but I'm not going to judge people's bathing habits. I'll thank her for
Just
the
out there
information,
being
and I'll
visibly
go ahead
ill.
and head out.
All right, you manage to make it out of the hut. Not
Well,
physically damaged, emotionally damaged, man. You probably need to start rolling sanity saves.
I'll make a note. But apparently, this hag was not the master of the marsh. She did give us a name, though. Laszlo Ulrich. Used to be the old burgomaster here, and he's probably a ghost of some sort.
And, you were a little distracted when you were going down to retrieve the goat and so forth. Not everyone in the party heard the entire conversation, but Adia, you remember seeing the name Aldrich on the mansion door where you retrieved the goat.
The mansion door where we retrieve the goat?
Yes. It's in ruins, but where you went to get the goat is on the southwest corner of the map, and it's a ruined mansion.
No, I thought the goats were just like right here outside the hut.
Nope.
Initially, I'd said that, and then I corrected it.
Oh, well, okay. Well, that sounds like a good place to start. We'll wander on back to the goats then. Or
Okay.
I don't know how it's set up.
The goats we go.
Well, here, let me help you with that. You're in the goat pen of the mansion on that map.
No, I don't want to be in the goat pen. I want to be in the mansion.
Well, you're headed toward the mansion. And, as I said, you see this, it's pretty much been reduced to a lot of stone and piles of stone and rotting timbers. You got the to the south, you've got a garden. You've got the goat pen in front. And you can see the remains of furniture and decor in the rubble.
Go ahead and enter, and we'll have a look around. I'll use my divine sense again to see if I can sense any undead in the area.
Technically he probably doesn't qualify, but yes, you do sense one undead presence.
If he's a ghost, I hope he qualifies.
Well, yes, he would be a ghost. And, as you start entering and searching the mansion, you see a ghost take shape in the fog, and he assumes the form of a giant of a man. And you can see that his features are mutilated and his entrails are hanging out like frayed ropes. And despite its intimidating presence, you can see it's got this cringing light in its eyes. And he's like, "Why do you invade my home? Be gone, I beseech you."
Beseech. Radon corrects him.
Radon, what?
Corrects him.
Fuck off! Get out of my house!
And he speaks up. That story from earlier.
Yes, the lady's name was Ireena.
Yeah, I say to him, "You wonder why we're here? We've come here looking for your daughter."
My daughter is dead.
Well, so are you, but that hasn't stopped you.
And he retells the sad tale of Ireena about how it was at the point Strahd was moving in for the final bite, and he was forced to kill his own daughter. And as you know what happened to the town in Strahd's anger, Strahd also cursed this poor soul. His spirit will never find rest because of what he did to Strahd's love.
Seems to be a lot of that going around, with all the undead and the reincarnation. In any case, he killed his daughter. We're looking for her. If she's not a ghost, where did you bury her?
Uh, why are you so interested in my daughter?
Well, we received a fortune telling from a Vistani woman that led us to seek her out. And Radon retells how they went to the camp and they got the reading, and he explains the reading that led them here. Word for word, I see a kneeling woman, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, your daughter is associated with some sort of sword of sunlight, and that's what we're looking for.
I don't see how she would be. And Ismark is kind of growing a little impatient. And he's like, just tell him that we think his daughter has been reincarnated into Ireena. And
I mean, he looks at Ismark and he kind of gestures between the two of them.
and needless to say, the ghost is like, what?
Yes, this fellow's sister is currently the object of Strahd's attention. He seems to think that she's the reincarnation of your daughter. And we're looking for a way to keep a repeat of history from happening.
Well,
Did
let's
Weremute
see.
just cut out? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, I'm here. You really think my daughter was reincarnated into this girl?
I don't rightly know, but Strahd believes it, and that's enough reason to pursue the matter.
And he's like, I must see her.
Can you leave town?
No, I cannot.
Well, she's currently holed up in Valaki, nice and safe. I'm not going to expose her to danger just to bring her here.
Well, I know what you seek. And if you bring this Ireena here, and it is truly My reborn daughter, I will tell you what you need.
We don't have time for this. We have 5 days before things get violent. I cannot waste the time running back and forth between there and here.
I'm sorry, I must see her in the flesh.
Do we have no way of projecting an image? Magic people? Anything?
The cleric's got nothing, I don't think. Check my list, but pretty sure that's not a divine kind of thing, is it?
I do not have any illusion spells outside of mirror image.
And again, I do have a horse. If we just had Ismark jump on it, run back, and bring her here, maybe that would work. Then again, maybe I could go. It would be a lot faster than walking, anyway.
This would be a great stopping point and something to think about. You got Baba Yaga, who talks about, she was hired by the parents to watch over Strahd. She's also convinced she's Strahd's mother. She's a hag with connections to Strahd.
Yeah, she can't possibly be his mother then.
Do you really want to bring Ireena here?
As long as she doesn't see her, I don't see the problem. Still, that doesn't solve our problem. The ghost has information we need, and he's not giving it up unless he sees her, so we need some way to show her to him. Not to say I'm a paladin basically. All I do is hit things really hard. I can use my brain, but it's not coming up with anything right now. And we have no time to waste with this errand.
Out of game, you could send Ismark on your mount to fetch her. And next week or week after, when we have Good Morning, we can you can go after the hag to remove.
I'm sorry, when we have who?
Send Ismark back on the horse to get Ireena.
That's what I suggested.
And in the meantime, the party can deal with the dangerous threat in the area who has a somewhat of a connection to Strahd.
I really don't want to fight her. I don't see a reason to.
Okay, I know you didn't just gloss over name dropping someone who I've heard stories of from your Sunday game.
Huh?
Oh, did I say good morning?
Oh, yes, yeah, you
did. You did.
A little bit of a problem there.
Yeah, no kidding. It's hard to refer to him as Chaos Lord.
Oh, so Chaos Lord is good morning, not this not this potential other person. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, they're the same person.
Yeah.
They,
So, you could go after the hag. She does have a connection to Strahd, She could, knowing that she could know that Strahd wants her. Decide to capture it and gain favor.
Yeah, but like at the same time, if she never lays eyes on Ireena, then it's not a problem. We would avoid fighting a really powerful hag in her own brick shit house.
But think about the experience points.
I'm thinking about like the fact that it's a hag. Like I actually know how annoying those things can be.
I've run this module, and when my group like barely made it by the skin of their teeth. But I really want to do this from the player side. I'm so conflicted.
Well, there are far worse challenges ahead of you.
Just thinking, like, we either need to find a way to sidestep this entirely, or we need to find a way to get Ireena here without her getting nabbed by Baba.
And just as a reminder, the chick on the hill told you about the scarecrows that were her minions.
What?
Right, she did.
No?
Yes, she did. She mentioned scarecrows throughout the ruins of Berez, so... that would drastically reduce the odds of getting anyone here without Baba Lysaga knowing about it.
Yeah, I didn't know about the scarecrows. That would definitely give her away.
Yeah, she was telling you about Baga lives in the hut. The scarecrows of Berez are murderous creatures under the hag's control. They surround her hut, and they serve as an early warning system. She periodically sends her scarecrows to attack the wizards of the wine, who she's made an enemy of.
Fuck those guys. Still, if she's got a bunch of spies littered around, there's no way we're getting Ireena in here without being seen.
Yeah. I can see in this section where you had to go to the mansion to have this dilemma, to have a reason to attack the hag. Otherwise, it's just a typical crazy hag attacks you encounter.
Yeah, I mean, she's just hanging out in her hut. She's not bothering anybody.
And right
except
now,
maybe these wizards.
Just admit you're scared of seeing her naked again.
I'm not going to deny it.
Scared or looking forward to? One man's scared, another man's what?
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can someone charm him?
No.
The hag probably could.
All right, gentlemen. Same time next week, and we'll figure out what we're going to do with the hag and if you can get around it.
Yeah, we got to find a way through her or around the ghost. I was so hoping this wouldn't turn violent.
So, hey, next week we'll be having combat.
Yay.
Oh boy.
Alright, see you guys next time.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.